when we are helping people prepare keynote presentations or important communications that they need to give out, what is there how do you help them in that?
Well, the first point is to recognise that I'm doing the presentation with a visual aid. I'm not an aid to the visual deck that I've been given, which is how most people show up to do a presentation.
Which is why we always banned PowerPoint, isn't
Absolutely.
it?
You know, for a lot of our coaching, we say, look, you're going to create visual pictures. You're going to do it with your body language. You're going to do it with your storytelling. With your hands. So we increase the reliance on another language to show people just what's possible. If you then add a visual aid to give that impact, it can be really powerful, even a few visual aids. But I think most people, when they have to design a presentation, they open up PowerPoint, they start writing lists, they start writing headings, and out they go, and then they might send it to a designer or put it through AI and try and make it look nice. But
and
ultimately,
the corporate communications team comes in and hones and refines.
Yeah, someone else puts their voice into it, and you end up with basically a document that you're talking through on stage. Rubbish. That's not great theatre at all. And it is theatre. Online or live, it is theatre. And you are the instrument of the message. And the way you manage your instrument, and then the way you add to that with props or set or costume or whatever it is, will be the difference between a 3-star presentation and a 5-star presentation.
And the ones, and you spoke about that leader who slides not his own 1,200 people. The damage to that brand's reputation is enormous. But equally, I mean, how many forgettable presentations or keynotes or communications?
I think the most important thing is it's a missed opportunity.
Yeah, that's it. Absolutely.
It's not so much damage, because I don't know, it may or may not damage them, but what an opportunity. You know, in this case, this was an established brand. What an opportunity to say, we might be established, but we're still really on the money when it comes to being valuable for you. I wonder how many brands are getting lazy, how many brands are slipping out of the front of mind of people because they haven't been modernising, they haven't been updating. And in each of these presentations, you've got a never to be repeated opportunity to say, this is where we're at today, everybody. And again, please don't send your leaders out there with corporate communications decks and let them fumble through them. Don't do it anymore.
Yeah, it absolutely is such a missed opportunity. And from that aspect, from a leadership perspective as well. And I think one of the things we spoke a little bit about it at the beginning was looking at, what does this mean to me? So that audience orientation piece. And I think that when we are coaching people is always where we start. Don't start with a brand message. Don't start with what you want to say. Start with the people who are going to be in the room. What are they interested in? What is their world? What are the things that are keeping them awake at night? And if you can start to unpick some of those, that's when the stories start to come through.
That's the connection. You know, it's a bit like an 80-20 rule. Is my presentation 80% them and what matters to them, and 20% me and my brand and what we can do for them? Or is it the other way around? There might be a bit of 20%, a couple of questions early on what's going on for you, and we know you, before I start rattling off the deck and doing the 80% about us. For me, if an audience go away going, do you know, I didn't know that I can take that away and use that. Thank you very much, Mr. and Mrs. whatever the brand was. You've done a good job of branding. If they go away going, can't remember an awful lot about that, there were a lot of slides and a lot of talk and a lot of buzzwords, and I knew most of them, missed opportunity. So let's be great at this stuff. It's theatre. Theatre is fun. If your leaders learn how to do this, they're going to get more and more inspired by being leaders in your organisation, and they're going to inspire the people who they speak to internally as well. And going back to that example I gave of the 38,500 people, I won't say who the brand was, but their chief executive actually came personally, presented at the end of about 85% of the sessions.
Wow.
And he was amazing. And he was the sort of man who made a big point of remembering people's names.
That personalisation.
So even someone two levels below him, if he saw them in a corridor, he'd call them by their name. even though they hadn't met yet. He knew people and he took trouble over it. Intimacy, connection. And in fact, I heard one anecdote from a manager who was called by his name by this chief executive, and he said, from that day, I would have walked through walls for that man. And man, woman, whatever the boss is, this connection that you have with people online, in person, on stage is really important, that the leaders of the organization all know how to do this, and that you promote leaders who can do this, because that's what's going to create meaningful places of work, purposeful places of work that are going to deliver on the brand proposition that your marketing people have spent so much time working on.
To watch the full episode, please go to the Transform UK channel and maybe consider subscribing. Or don't, but probably do. Definitely do.